The main Old English families of the town start to appear in our surviving records around the early 1300s, and several names dominate the records. The Roaches, the Galways, and the Meads, or the Meads, seem to have been the most important in town. Then followed by the Millhunts, it's still Millhunts town, the Browns and the Youngs, who filled the middling rank. Then followed by the Golds, the Martells, the Ronanes, the Sarsfields, the Coppingers, and the Tyrrells. Now, all these families married and intermarried each other over the centuries and formed a small oligarchy, which was based in an odd kind of economic triangle between Kinsale, Cork, and Youghal. Now, despite hundreds of years of their dominance, there are only a few visible remains of these families still to be seen. Better something than nothing. Castle-wise, we have Desmond Castle, we have the Young family castle, which now occupies the very floor plan of Lasnik. This was possibly known as Schuller's Castle in the late 1600s, or Schuller's Castle was another tower house close by. We have the DeCourcy Castle up on the ramparts. We have either one or two tower houses on Friar Street, one at least known as Darley Castle. We have the Melhunt, we have the Melhunt tower house very close to where Little is now. From the late 1500s, we have more records surviving, largely as a result of the resurgent English interest in Ireland. Once they forget about France at long last, they then start to look at us again. So we have a semi-reasonable documented span of roughly 100 years before my putative end of the medieval period. Kinsale seems to have never fallen from direct governmental control, but the importance of the town apparently waned enough that government intervention largely fell off from about 1412. This left the mercantile families in town, the aforementioned, the potential to assume control of the town, dominating it both politically and economically. The families engaged in trade, and there was great scope for profits, especially when compared to the relative prosperity of Ireland in general. These families then reinvested their trade profits in buying land around the town. Now, the land that these families owned ranged as far north as Ballinasig, as far west as Garrettstown, and as far east as Roberts Cove. They did have some property further afield, but I'm not going to speak of that. So, using various sources, I collated the land ownings of the families as they stood sometime later in 1641. So the Roaches outranged all the other families by a huge measure, owning 8,765 acres. And when I'm discussing the medieval report, you'll see that the Roaches were the main trading family in the town, and thus we can see how they came to such a huge estate. None of the other families get such a huge acreage. The Galways, 1,543 acres, the Youngs, 1149, the Meads, 1148, the Millhunts, 730, and the Browns, 325. So you can see